Hello, Leo. Thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, I'm going to use Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. I already shuffled. Energy's already going fast, so that's very curious. Cross. Okay. Alright, so Leo, a lot of levels that you're dealing with here. Alright, so there's a lot going on at once. You got a very interesting thing going on here. You got power, resistance, realization. All this is in the environment, which is causing the wheel to turn for you. These are all things coming at you. A lot is coming at you. The wheel is turning. Realize somebody, like, I feel like it's the realization is kind of like the situation is coming forward. It's realizing what really has been happening, what it's really about. And somebody is definitely resisting a change here. Somebody's resisting it, and they're trying to use their power to stop it. But I feel like when this is happening, you're realizing this is what's been going on for a while. Somebody's trying to stop the wheel from turning, and you're seeing the wheel turn. It's coming in. It has to turn. You're seeing somebody use everything they can. They're fighting tooth and nail to stop this turn. The resistance is there, and their power is with it, is what I'm getting. They're doing everything they can to stop it. And I feel like that's where the realization comes in. Like, you're starting to see this person in a different light. Like, oh, I think that's where some of these problems come from because they don't like change. And I didn't realize this is how far they'd go for that. Because they're doing things to stop this change. They're really going above and beyond trying to stop it. They're doing everything in their power, fighting tooth and nail to stop this change. And I feel like you're witnessing this happen, and you're kind of like that's a bit excessive. That's how the energy I'm feeling it. Like, that's really excessive. Now, you got two things going on here. You got the Lover's card and the Three of Swords here. So that's like being heartbroken and in love at the same time. Now, the change, I feel like the change is good. I feel like you like the change. The change is something you want, but you're also realizing the resistance there is so strong. I almost feel like the Three of Swords, because this is a minor arcana and this is a major arcana, so the major arcana outweighs the minor. I feel like the Three of Swords really, for you, is feeling bad for this person. Almost kind of like you're realizing they don't want to. They don't want to do this. And you're realizing that's going to be a problem. Even if you don't feel bad, that might be the wrong way to put it. You're kind of disappointed that they're fighting against it so hard because you're realizing this is going to be a problem. Because they're fighting so hard against the change and you want it. You do want it. And they don't. And you're like, that's something I'm going to have to deal with. But you're also realizing the wheel is turning. The wheel's going to turn. Like, you're not going to stop the wheel from turning. And they're fighting tooth and nail to do that, but they're going to fail and you see it. So it's kind of like the disappointment that you know this adversity is there because you realize that's going to be something you have to deal with at some point. Okay, so going to the next phase. Now, you have crossed cards, which crossed cards for me means basically for this to happen, you have to resolve the card on top. At least in this situation, just to be fair. So you got the Star card laying over the Queen of Wands, which I feel like you have to get into an optimistic viewpoint about this person. To actually get this moving forward and get this moving forward well, you have to get into like an optimistic viewpoint. If you go into a negative thing, like they're going to cause problems, they're going to be hard to deal with, I'm dreading dealing with them. Like, if you go in with that attitude, it will get a lot worse. Because I feel like you're going to like try to preemptively take care of certain things, and it's going to make things worse. Ironically, I feel like that energy will make things worse. But if you're going to kind of go into it, like they'll catch up, they'll get the point, they'll realize we need to go forward, and they'll come around at some point, and you just go forward with a positive attitude, like we're going to need to do this, we have to do this. at some point they will come around. It works better for you. They're like, use this energy to your benefit. Because if you have this attitude like, oh, I know you don't really like this, but you'll get to it. You'll get used to it. You'll be happy at some point. Don't worry. You going in with that attitude, it kind of gets them to kind of realize they need to get on board, and this change will happen anyway. So you're trying to coax them, even though they may not move that much forward. It makes it easier for them to make that decision. If you're like, well, you're never going to like it, you're always going to be a problem, you're always going to be a pain in my butt. If you're coming at them with that energy, they're going to get more stubborn and more hard to deal with. I think that's what we're saying with this. It's kind of like advice. So they're saying go into it with positive attitude. Like, you know, they'll catch up at some point. Do your best to do that. I think that might be easier said than done. You got the Three of Pentacles in what's actually happening with you in this situation anyway. Now, with the situation itself, with the wheel turning, you're working to move it forward. You want it to move forward is what I'm feeling. And I feel like if you try to just work with this energy, whoever's resisting, just try to keep them moving forward. Just try to, like, assume that they will, in a sense, as much as you can without, you know, leaving yourself at risk for failure, of course. But trying to assume they're going to move forward at some point, I feel like that works to your benefit. Okay, so this is all face down. As you keep going forward, this person, whoever's resisting, they've got extremes on their side. This card, I don't know, this card is usually not the best card in the sense of, like, it doesn't really feel like it's a positive card usually. Not usually. I'm feeling this person's ever really, it's face down when it pops up like this, so it pops out of nowhere in a sense. They're really digging in their heels. They don't want to change. Extremes is telling me it's like an overreaction. They're overreacting to the situation is what I'm getting. But what I'm getting is at the same time, the new beginning is happening. Like it says beginnings. Like it's starting anyway. The wheel is turning. It's going forward. You're helping going forward. But it's because of their extreme energy pulling in. That's why boundaries is popping into two, because it's causing the situation to not go forward as fast as it could. It's kind of like this should easily crank open, like the doors should crank open, you should be able to crank them open, but they're kind of like the creaky, rusty parts where it's making it really hard, and you gotta like keep pushing to get it going, making it really hard to open this door. It shouldn't be this hard. It's because of them. They're pushing in these boundaries. They're making it really difficult for this new beginning to start. Which I feel at this point you may be like, and I'm supposed to have an optimistic outlook on this, because I feel like at some point they have to let go. They really, really do. So I feel like if you just kind of keep trying to coax them forward with a positive energy, like, I know you don't want to do this, but this is where we're going. This is where life is going. We need to keep moving forward. If you try your best to keep a positive energy with that, and I feel like that's going to be a challenge, to be fair. I do feel like that's going to be a challenge, just to have a positive outlook on it. The sooner... the better you are with the positive energy, the sooner they're going to let go, because they're going to have to at some point. And I feel like having positive energy there, it just kind of coaxes them, puts a little butter on the doorknob, not the doorknob, the hinge, grease on the hinge. Probably grease would be better than butter on the hinge, so it makes it move a little better. You know what I mean? It just finally, when it starts moving, it makes it move easier. If you're not positive, it just seems to make it drag out that much longer, if that makes sense. It's like, if you make it a positive thing and you just keep trying to help them and trying to, you know, encourage them to move forward, when they finally start to move forward, it's kind of like slipping on butter. It's like, whoop, there they go. It'll go a lot easier. It'll go a lot smoother. That's why I feel like you want to have like the positive attitude. At some point it will pay off for you. But it is a challenge. It really, really is a challenge. And I'm not going to say it's easy, because I don't think it will be. Now, the Eight of Swords is coming up on its side for you. Again, it's about your outlook, I really feel. You can release yourself from this, realizing the change will happen. It is going to happen. But this person and how it's like extremes. Like they're really trying to make things go backwards. It's like you're trying to pull you back into the dark ages here. You're like, and it's kind of like, are they going to, the question is, are they going to be able to do it? Because they do have a lot of power behind them. And you're questioning, are they going to be able to do this? It doesn't seem likely they're going to be able to do it, but it's almost kind of like they're stagnating the situation, like they're bringing everything to a stop. and it's kind of like you're feeling like my hands are tied, I can't do anything. I feel like if you just keep moving forward, this might be hard, but just keep planning like it's going. Keep giving this person encouragement, like we're going into this change, it's going to happen. I just feel like you could reverse this out. It's hard. It's a hard card because I feel like when these boundaries are here, this extremes is coming in, it's just kind of like the resistance is so strong. It's easy to fall into this trap of thinking, you know, it's never going to, nothing's going to happen. It could even fail because they won't let go. But they're saying it's on the side, like you could release yourself from this. You definitely can release yourself from this. Just keep moving forward. Keep planning as if it's coming. Just realize it's out there. It's just been pushed out a little bit. Just keep planning, keep preparing, keep going, and it'll work out in your favor. That's a hard card. I do feel like it's a hard card because what happens is this energy here, this power, this person who doesn't want to let go, they come into the Page of Pentacles energy here, which means they're slowly losing their grip is what I'm getting, and they're slowly going into this next situation. The wheel, you can't negate out the wheel. It's just kind of how it is. It's going to happen. The change will happen. And they're slowly losing their grip, and they're slowly going forward. And changes are going to happen very slowly, but they're really reluctant to do that. I also feel like the rate at which this changes, it could be slow, but it's the difference between 5 miles an hour and 15 miles an hour. With more of a positive attitude, it could go at 15 miles an hour. You know, if you think about 1 hour passes, would you rather be 5 miles down the road or 15 miles down the road? 2 hours pass. Do you want to be 30 miles down the road or do you want to be 10 miles down the road? You know what I mean? So you got to kind of think of it that way. It doesn't feel like a great difference to you, but as time passes, it turns out to be a great difference. Like a day passes by. If you go a whole day at 5 miles an hour versus a whole day at 15 miles an hour, you're going to have a significant jump. Like the person who went 15 miles an hour is going to be significantly farther than the person going 5 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the thing. It doesn't seem like a big difference to you. It's just kind of like it's slow. But as you look back, as time passes, it does make a significant difference. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting from that. Because as it keeps going, I feel them warming up more. You got the Queen of Cups crossing the Three of Cups. Is it the Three of Cups? It is the Three of Cups. Trying your best to stay... I don't feel like staying in good graces with them, but keeping them in your good graces. Like, they have to stay on your good side, but I feel like it's up to you to keep them there. Like, keeping them in your mindset as a good energy, as somebody you actually like, even though they're dragging you back a little bit here, because you don't like what they're doing, but I feel like them as a person, I feel like that should be okay. That's, like, the way this is going, I feel like it will aggravate you more and more as time goes on. And the challenge here is to keep you and this energy getting along, because the better you get along, the faster things go, the better things go in the future. This could be a moment, and I feel like this is the whole point of this reading. This could be one of those moments where it just gets aggravating to you. It gets more and more aggravating to the point where you just find yourself not liking this person, and you just find yourself maybe being a little curt with them, just ignoring them, walking away from them just because they're getting on your nerves. They're saying keep this person in a positive place in your mind the best you can, because going down the road, this moment could cause some animosity where you're just really annoyed that they held things up, that they caused so many problems, that they were so extreme, and it may just sit with you. Leo isn't one to usually hold a grudge, but I feel like it's one of those things where they're constantly a pain in the butt. They're just constantly a pain in the butt. They're constantly a pain in the butt. They're constantly a pain in the butt. So it's not like you're holding a grudge. It's kind of like you're getting used to dealing with them in a certain way. Like they're constantly a problem, so you're constantly approaching them as if they're a problem, and you get used to just approaching them that way. I don't really feel like it's a grudge. I feel like it's more like you're just automatically on defense when you see them. You're automatically not happy with them when you see them. Not holding a grudge again, but just like that's the energy you start to develop. That's the energy you just start to deal with them with. That could be a problem down the road. So they're like saying, so I feel like what they're saying here is try to stay in the best positive mood possible, just so you can keep going with this, so it doesn't cause you more problems down the line. because I feel like this person could really get on your nerves, and you could just end up really, every time you deal with them, you could see this air of disgust on your face, just kind of like you're sick of dealing with them, you're sick of them causing problems, and no matter what it is going forward, you're like, the first thought is when you see them walk in the room, you're just kind of like, oh, here comes the problem. Like, that's your reaction to them. I know it sounds like a grudge, but to me it's not. It just feels like that you're just, when you see them, you're like, this person equals problem. This person equals slow. This person equals resistance. It's not like you're holding a grudge. I don't know. Like, it's not like, oh, I remember that, and I remember what they did, because that would be the grudge version. It's more like just, oh, here they are. They're a problem. That's just what they are. That's just who they are. You know what I mean? It's a little different. It may seem like splitting hairs, though, so I guess it doesn't matter. But basically what this whole reading is about is, like, don't let this create this pattern for you, because it will cause more problems down the road for you. It'll make things more rough down the road for you. Like, realize this person's going to be rough in this situation, but going forward, things are different. Things are going to be different, and you don't want to have this mindset where you're just treating them as if they're a problem, because that will create additional problems later that you don't want. All right, I think we're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. With James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.